I think we can go, all right?
Sounds good.
Call the meeting to order. And then do introductions.
Yeah, Emily Collins, CDA.
Jerry Simpson, 40 Umatilla.
Joel Peterson, Port of Morrow.
JD Tubby, CTYR.
Jeff Wynn Holtz, Morrow County.
Lisa Millsdorf, Port of Morrow alternate.
Ryan DeGroff, Business Oregon.
Okay, all right.
Eric Thorson, East Oregonian.
And then online, we have John Schaefer,
Good afternoon, John Schaefer, Umatilla County.
Jean,
Hey, good afternoon, Jean Max, Schwab, Williamson, and Wyatt.
and Patrick Cleary,
Hey, Patrick Clary, also at Schwabi, representing CDA.
Aaron Palmquist,
Aaron Palmquist, City of Oregon.
Bob Walder,
Bob Walder, Umatilla County.
Nick Kotz,
Nick Kotz, representing OMD. I'm the Reese Training Center Training Site Manager.
Elizabeth Howard,
Elizabeth Howard at Schwabi, representing CDA.
and then Megan Dovchevsky.
Megan Dobchevsky, Umatilla County.
And they were bouncing around, so if I missed anyone, but I think that's everybody.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve it?
I'll move for approval of consent agenda.
Second that.
Yes, from CD. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's unanimous. So, what am I doing anything with that? I'm looking at the minutes. Okay. Director's update, Cleaver Farms.
Can we actually move the CDA staffing first, since Jean only has an hour with us? That's okay.
So. Where would that
That's number one on the work session.
session, the handbook and the contract?
If we can do that first.
Is there any objection to that? No. Okay, yes, we can do that first.
Okay, Jean, do you want us to go into executive session or open session to start with?
I think executive session. Elizabeth can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
No, that's correct. Let's do executive session first.
Okay, now will we want to do the whole executive session or go in and out, in and out?
I think we might need to go in and out just because Jean's only helping us with the contract and the handbook today.
Okay,
And then we'll pull in
okay,
more Patrick for the second part of the Wednesdays.
okay.
Sorry about that, everyone.
It's okay, so we will be doing an executive session for 662A, right?
Yeah, and
And F,
yeah,
oh, okay. Okay,
do you want me to read it or you can?
let's see if I can.
Perfect.
So I start, see, the CDA, so I start with the CDA may hold, right?
Yep.
CDA may hold an executive session meeting for the permissible reasons stated below under ORS 192.6602. Representatives of the news media and designated staff and other persons shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience will be asked to leave the room, or the CDA board may adjourn to another meeting room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision will be made in this executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. Subject to ORS 192.6602F. To consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection, and ORS 192.6602A to consider the employment of a public officer, employee, staff member, or an individual agent. So recess the public meeting and open the executive session. And reopen the public meeting in which we're discussing employee handbook.
Yeah, I saw.
Is there a motion or discussion on the employee contract? Not the employee contract. First, we're starting with the
On the handbook.
handbook, yes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to
Okay.
approve the handbook pending a handful of edits under time off and policies, or sorry. Yeah, time off policies under holidays, including Juneteenth day in the list of holidays. Under vacation in requesting leave employee notice, it just needs to be changed from executive director to chair of board of directors. To authorize the request for leave.
Yeah.
And on page 16, vacation after notice of termination, there's a acceptance of denial for vacation is required, sole discretion, again, of the chair of the board of directors. And then under sick leave accrual, CDA approves regular full-time employees with 2.0 hours of accumulated sick leave per pay period for up to 52 hours per year. So that math works out. And I think that was it. Yeah, that was it.
I was looking for.
Okay. Katie moved, Jeff seconded. Approve the handbook? No, yeah. Employee handbook. With the changes, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Okay, move on to employee contract.
So I'll move for approval of the employee agreement with the change in section 1 and under the term to change from July 31 to June 30, 2027.
July 1 or July 31?
June 30th.
June
Well,
30.
You said July 31.
That to change from that to June 30.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, sorry.
I think that's what I said.
I think so, yeah. That's what I've got written here.
That's what you meant.
Yes, yeah, that's, yeah.
For clarification is from July 31 and changing it to June
June
30.
30th.
Okay.
Second. Okay, Jordan seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, we move on to back to the start. Director's update. Leaders?
Yeah, okay, so Cleveland Farms,
Thank you, Gene.
yeah, thank
Sorry.
you.
Hi.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth, if you need a, me too. So Cleaver Farms, we transferred the property to Cleaver Farms. We closed on August 21st. At the time of transfer, they made their last payment of us of approximately 22,000. So their total payment was 80,000 and half of those proceeds go to C2IR, which we are signing a check for and send out today. And then transaction will be completed.
Okay, check that one.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any questions or anything.
Emily, I'll add one quick thing on that one. We do have to send a notice to the Army within 10
Yes.
days, so we're drafting that notice for you. But once that's in the mail, that one is officially done.
Okay.
And then on the programmatic agreement, as you all know, we found some additional items that need to be completed, including transferring the Oregon Trail site to Morrow County. I received an update from Adam on this since he isn't able to join us today. And on the land use work for the Morrow County side, we have started the application for the lot line adjustment, and the narrative is mostly done. And they're just working on a couple exhibits of the two tracks. So what the application will consist of is a lot of record verification and a lot line adjustment for the north track to create the C2IR parcel, and then the lot line adjustment in the south to create the South Trail parcel. So once that's done, we'll send it over to the port for their review and approval, and then,
Is there,
and
what's
then
the legal access going to be? The plan?
yeah,
It would be nice if we could change the programmatic agreement and go directly to the Port of Morrow. And there wouldn't be that issue, but you can't be transferring landlocked. Even though Morrow County is gonna later, but to start with, you can't transfer the Morrow County without.
yeah, so we talked about this, we had a meeting, with Port of Morrow, Adam and myself, and I think,
And yeah,
and Joel, and we, this question came up with, the Morrow County, I don't think Tamara's on today. So the question was, can we just transfer it directly to Port of Morrow versus Morrow County and then Port of Morrow? And my advice was, it would open up kind of a can of worms editing the programmatic agreement, and it would then be on Brack's timeline also to make those changes, and it requires all 5 parties to sign off. Not that you guys wouldn't, but it would just add time. Whereas Adam thinks going this route and using a land or a lot line adjustment, finishing out that land use paperwork, transferring to Morrow County, and then Morrow County transferring, will only add on our end about like 3 months. If everything moves really smoothly. I know Patrick is like, we don't love timelines on that, but yeah.
Can I ask that we at least call Brack and have that conversation and see what they think that timeline would be?
Yeah, and I think that would be a question for our chair, if the chair is okay with that. I know.
I would simplify
Yeah, it could.
on our end.
Okay.
To a big degree.
Yeah, that's the direction of the board.
But if it raises too many complications, then
yeah,
with Brack may not be interested. I don't know.
Yeah, Elizabeth, I don't know if you took yourself on this off of mute on purpose.
I think we can definitely ask the question. Need to think about sort of maybe the ripple effects, and just in the sense of we need to make sure it doesn't create complications with the NEPA. We need to, and I guess we would want to make sure that if we're going to go down that route, that the Port of Morrow is also planning to assume all the obligations that Morrow County would have had under the programmatic agreement. So I'm assuming Port of Morrow has thought about those pieces.
We have made those obligations to Morrow County for sure.
Okay.
We will take over maintenance of that.
We've already discussed that.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, well, we can certainly reach out. They have been corresponding with us related to other questions about sort of the reinvestment obligation that Emily and I have been working on them with, just to clarify some things. So it does seem at least that we have a line of communication with the player.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I spoke with someone from their office yesterday too. So, and not necessarily, the programmatic agreement, but from their reporting. So you can get in contact quickly. It's just, if you're comfortable with us making that request.
I hope they wouldn't view this as some big change, but it's just a small one. Yeah.
I guess the other question that I have is, could CDA just dedicate the current roads to the public? Because then that access would already be defined.
Yeah.
To the Oregon Trail site.
Yeah, we have not. I wish,
Or the port granite easement across whatever they call that road that goes up to.
But the port doesn't have it now.
We don't own it yet.
In order to get you to own it, you have to have.
CDA would have to do that.
Yeah.
CDA could do that. That's a good point.
Just granite easement up the existing road that's there, whatever road number or name that the Army had for it.
Patrick, I think that's for you, maybe. I can say something, but it might not be right.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do an easement that CDA grants along with it, and then when POM takes the property, they step into the granite roll under the easement.
Okay, is that?
Whatever's the fastest to get property transferred.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody wants.
That might be the shortest, actually.
So what's that route? What route? What is it?
It's going across the main road to the west to the port property, and then it goes up on one of those little side roads. Is it the same road that has the old rail loading docks?
Yeah, so I was
That same
trying,
road.
is it,
I think so.
that's entirely Morrow County side of the line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole thing. Or-
It'd be using the new road
Yeah,
and turn north off of it and right up.
yeah, yeah.
So is that actually the first option we should look at?
I think so.
I think so. I think,
Yep.
yeah. So don't talk to Brack yet,
Just for access. Is that what you're asking?
just for the
now?
legal access.
So we do need to make the South Trail its own tract in order to transfer it. So, and I think we can talk to Brad about this, but from our interpretation of the programmatic agreement, they want to see that as an individual transaction. So making a lot line adjustment to make it its own parcel might be necessary no matter what we do. But transferring it directly to the port, I guess, is the change that if we added the programmatic agreement, that would be the change made, not the lot line adjustment. Is that
Emily,
correct, Kelsey?
We
Or
could
Elizabeth?
actually, well, we could potentially do just like what they have. I mean, CTUIR has a portion, a segment of the I think it's called the North Trail, JD, if I'm
Mhm.
remembering correctly. And we didn't need to create a separate parcel for that. So if we're gonna go to BRAC, we could just have a discussion around doing something similar to what's happening on with the CTUIR parcel, where the port agrees to do all of the things that it needs to do to protect that. So if we're gonna amend the agreement, we could just potentially amend it to capture that similar approach. So I think we just need to have the conversation with them if that's what you guys want to do.
Elizabeth, my only question on that might be is the existing zoning on those different, because the zoning you're talking, it's the industrial zone with the overlay, right? And then but the North Trail's on the conservation zoning. So I don't know if there's some difference in the zoning that might cause it be.
So everything in Morrow County, part of it may be on the overlay and like where the parking lot is, but I think the actual ruts are not in the overlay zone, if I remember right.
I can
But-
look that up.
But either way, the underlying zoning is port industrial,
Right,
and that type of thing is an outright allowed use in port industrial.
okay, yeah. I just didn't know if there's gonna be a difference based on what, because if they're asking for a separate track for that piece. And they didn't for the North Trail, I didn't know if it's because of the conservation easement or the difference in the zoning, underlying zoning. I don't know.
And looking at the map, I think that Jeff's exactly right. I think that the parking lot area and the displays are on port industrial and the Oregon Trail sites on the overlay.
Okay,
I think probably the reason for that is just, the reason it was separated out the way it was is because originally the county was going to be responsible for
I
it,
see.
so.
Yeah,
The roads
Yeah.
with the roads and.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's the-
So to be clear, do you
Yeah.
want us to reach out to BRAC, or do you want us to try to see if there's another way to go forward? Doing the public road, because originally we had talked about those roads would be, I guess they would still be public roads, but the port would be in charge of the roads on the Morrow County side.
To me, it's just a phone call. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it'd be worth bouncing
Okay.
ideas off of them.
But we're trying, yeah,
If they say it's gonna take months and months, then we drop it.
then we drop it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Or if
that
they-
sounds good. I can do that,
Okay.
Emily, you and I can coordinate on that.
Yeah, we can do that.
I believe looking at the map, the extra industrial property not in the overlay zone is that extra 400 feet where those loading docks are. So I think the road goes right up the eastern side of the overlay zone.
Okay. Okay, did you have anything else?
Not with the programmatic agreement. I do have another update from Adam, just kind of on the second lot line adjustment in Umatilla County. Just to update you that the application is nearly complete also. It's the the application is needed to isolate a parcel to be conveyed to Umatilla County as required by the settlement agreement. This includes 2 units of land that were previously reconfigured by the first lot line adjustment. So this application is a lot simpler than the first one. Once the narrative is completed and they have the exhibits attached, we'll send it over to Kenny, our surveyor, to review. And then we'll submit it back to Umatilla County for their final review. Just so things keep moving along. quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll move on to website marketing.
Okay, yeah, I don't have much to update you on other than I'm making progress and we'll hopefully have an update for you, something to look at and give you feedback on next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then business organ grant. So at the last meeting, I presented a grant opportunity that Business Oregon had posted that I thought that the CDA would qualify for after conversations with a few members of the Business Oregon staff and researching the program further. CDA did not qualify to apply. However, individual members could apply if anybody was interested. I met with Joel and unfortunately John wasn't able to meet with us the day that we met. So I just met with Joel and we decided just to send it over to the members to see what you guys thought and give you the opportunity to apply. I didn't hear anything back from any members, but Ryan and I just were visiting out in the hall and we are going to work on setting up a meeting anyways, so that hopefully when a program like this presents itself in the future, we're prepared with a project that we can just move forward with. So the committee that we put together last meeting, I'll be reaching out to have a meeting this
Okay.
month so we can actually start planning for something. Because although we will miss the timeline for this one, Ryan's programs open all the time, and there are some existing ones that are kind of consistently there that we can get also.
Okay.
And then policies, I have been working on the public records request policy, and since we added the employee handbook to this agenda, I decided to keep it off and move it to next month, since this agenda is pretty
Thank you.
pretty heavy again. And then that's all for my updates. I don't have any other today.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the work session. Road project,
Yeah, so I do have,
Umatilla counties. Let's see.
I have a few members of Umatilla County's planning on, I think Bob and Megan are on. And I had Adam from Schwabi take a look at the 2 irrevocable consent agreements that are attached to here, and they're requesting us to sign and submit them as part of our permitting for the road project. It's part of the requirements for that, and I only attached one to your packet simply because the other one wouldn't fit in there, and they're the exact same, just like the different road names. And so when I had Adam take a look at it, he said, this is a note, the Umatilla County is requiring CDA to sign the irrevocable consent agreements addressing future road maintenance for both Lamb Road and Ordinance Road. These conditions require road improvement participation agreements. And once executed, the agreements will be recorded in the county property records so that they run with the land. So they'll bind all future owners of the land of the property to this agreement.
So when the CDA doesn't own the land anymore?
Yes, it's basically why we decided to bring it to you and until kind of.
All right, so, but when the CDA doesn't own the property, that
Those agreements will go with
go
with the property.
with the property to Umatilla County.
Yeah.
Not, I just don't want a CDA
Yes,
stuck with doing
the maintenance of the road.
maintenance of the road that we, yeah, okay.
Yes, that is correct.
But in the meantime,
And this is for the Lamb Road and the Ordinance Road. Let's see, and I do have Bob and Megan on if they have anything else to say on it. On these agreements, I know they're standard for them. It's just something that we felt we wanted to bring forward for approval prior to me signing it.
what do we think?
Well, I think that you kind of addressed, when I was reading this, I was thinking along the lines, what happens when the CDA doesn't exist anymore?
Uh-huh.
And to be honest, I don't know, are these roads going through the area that the Port of Umatilla is getting, or the Umatilla County is getting?
That's what I'd like to know too. I
Yeah.
mean, typically the public agency would be the owner of the road and be required to maintain it. That could be with funds from the development that would be
Yeah,
on parcels, but
so the county's standard agreements will obligate all future property owners to pay a fair share of future road maintenance costs for both roads. Or otherwise participate in a local improvement director or district to pay for such road improvement.
that's just not something that's done in Monmouth County.
I don't know what, I just want,
Yeah,
the CDA won't be a property owner.
For very long, hopefully.
Then what, does the
yeah,
agreement disappear?
No, and I think that's the question or consideration, I guess, is that it doesn't. It stays and it goes with, so whoever acquires the property or whoever becomes subject to this agreement in the future will be obligated for doing that maintenance. And Emily, maybe you could look back at Adam's email one more time just to clarify. Do you think that that would go is it to anyone that is benefited by the road? Apologies that I'm doing this on my
says,
phone. Yeah.
for all property, within the petition plan. So you're asking if it's just who owns the property, owns the road, or if it's anybody who's using it? Is that what the question
It
is?
would, well, I think who benefits from it?
The counties would benefit from it.
Well,
And I assume that the port owns roads inside the port area.
Any roads we've had inside the port area, we have donated out to the county.
Okay,
That's what I think.
yeah, it just
they would
seems like
be.
an odd request coming from the county.
well, and because in my mind, this kind of creates a local improvement district.
Yeah,
Because it's basically assigning whoever is the owner and beneficiary to the property would be responsible for the long-term maintenance of the property. And I see Megan's hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can explain it a little bit. So we require these agreements for all roads that are created through a partitioning process. We also require them for roads that are used by land that's being partitioned. So it is standard, and it's really just so that as development occurs, those landowners at the time are obligated to help either maintain the road or do improvements based on their fair share, because we don't have system development charges at the county level.
I guess my question is, why is this an issue for the CDA? The ownership of that property is going to
County
Port of
issue.
Umatilla and Umatilla County.
county, and they will be the,
They should be able to decide what they want to do,
Shouldn't have
charging
to
for
come from the
improvements in the
CDA.
future, that shouldn't be our decision.
But this is the condition of the
Yes.
condition of the petition now as a CDA.
For the
So we're-
current road project.
Right, and
And
Lisa, exactly what you're saying is the reason why we wanted to bring it to the board is because it has implications for future owners. It just didn't make sense for Emily to sign this without flagging it for the board's review and input.
but yeah. I guess why would the CDA sign this?
Well, right now
Well,
it's required in order for the partition to be completed.
And then
And
the
so, oh, go ahead, sorry.
And then the partition needs to be done in order to transfer the land.
Correct,
Right.
yes.
So we're the
It's circles.
well, but we're the current owner, and so we're putting conditions on the land.
Uh-huh.
And so when it gets transferred, then the conditions
Should go with that.
should go with that. So it's not long-term binding out. So it's just putting conditions on the property now for the future owners.
Future owner.
Yeah.
There is a note here where Adam is offering to work with Umatilla County to maybe edit these agreements to better fit our needs, but it would delay things. Just so you know.
Well, but it's in a sense, because it doesn't bind the CDA. It's binding the owners of the land, and it happens to be CDA right now.
Mhm.
So when the CDA is no longer the owner, then it binds those owners then.
Exactly. So if the port and the county have concerns with this, I would just say, I mean, it seems like they should let us know. Because we all know this property is going to be transferred to those two entities.
Okay.
And this doesn't bind the future owners that might be purchasing from.
Yeah, you got
Or, I mean, it seems like we should only have
It does. I
one
think it does.
transfer of obligations.
But I think it's kind of like an easement. It permanently rides with the property. So even if they sell it to property owners in the future, then it would still bind them.
I don't think that's our business. I think that that's the Port of Umatilla and Umatilla County's business.
It would be, because then they'd be the owner. So that's on them.
Yeah, then it's on them.
Yeah.
To
And then,
decide
and
whether
if then
they
that
want.
person sells it again, then it's on that person. So it's whoever's owning it currently would be bound by it.
I think we should only bind the people that are acquiring it from us, not into perpetuity.
Oh,
I agree with you, Lisa, but it's on their side of the line. I agree with your philosophy, but.
I mean,
That too.
Yeah,
I don't care what you do over
Yeah.
there, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
yeah, I mean,
does Umatilla County or Port of Morrow have a issue with this? John or?
John.
Jerry, you have a problem with it?
I don't understand why the CDA, I mean, it should go to the landowner.
well, that's what because the CDA is long.
Unless you're gonna put an easement in for all of it right now, if the CDA put an easement in, then the easement's there, then transferring that might be easier than it would be just roads.
That's the same, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, so it's the only reason why the CDA is involved now is because the CDA is the current owner.
Right.
So you put a condition on the property that rides with the property. So when it leaves our ownership, then it goes to the owners of the property,
next
then
people
they have.
are
Yeah,
responsible.
yeah. And I used to do these, I worked in Florida in land development all the time. We did these all the time. So this is how, I mean, subdivisions and
Well,
downtown vital industrial parks and stuff like that. This is how we did all those.
does seem a little like, so the non-affected group could in essence vote in an issue for Umatilla County, Port of Morrow, or Port of Umatilla. Well, I would like to know if Umatilla County's okay with this.
Yeah, this doesn't give me any heartburn. I mean, it's pretty
It
standard.
doesn't?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay,
So
Okay.
it seems like it would be good for us to do a quick check-in with Port of Umatilla to make sure they're also okay with that.
Yeah, we've got a meeting next week. I can take that back to the board.
so, okay. Would that work all right? I think it'd be better.
Yeah.
You guys have to dedicate to the county and the county just takes care of
Is
that.
there anything else we can force on Umatilla County?
I heard
that. If, once I receive approval from Port of Umatilla, I move forward and get these signed and
Okay,
notarized.
we'll talk about that. So could we have a motion to approve this subject to the Port of Umatilla's agreement? Okay,
So you're looking for a motion to approve the Umatilla County ICA for ordinance road, subject to the Port of Umatilla's agreement of it?
yes,
That's the motion then.
okay,
I'll second that.
Yes.
okay, and JD, and this is both of them, or we need to do one at each one? There's two of these.
I was assuming we needed a motion for each one.
Okay, this is for this one. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passed unanimously. So,
I'll make a motion to approve the Umatilla County ICA for Lamb Road, subject to approval or consent by the Port of Umatilla.
I'll second that one too.
Okay, great. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Okay. Oh, the audits. Here we go. Jiminy Christmas. How many pages? Is
Hold
that?
on, yeah, I'm lost.
Oh, it's probably.
Okay, so our audit, yeah, that is part of why this agenda is so big too, is the audit's in here again. The only changes is, Rebecca received the legal letter from the legal counsel we were waiting to hear back from.
Right.
And that was added to the report and, so the only changes made were the report date was added, and then on page 21, there was an error with the Tapney contract amount. There was a comma in the wrong place, so that has been fixed. Everything else is the same. And then, if you approve, the final rep letter will need to be signed by Joel and myself personally.
Okay.
Yeah, before we were waiting for someone to sign something, right?
Just the legal letter, yeah,
Yes.
and what we had found was, we were accidentally contacting the wrong law firm, and that's why they didn't know who we were.
Yeah,
That was our-
they were pretty curt about the response. We're not gonna. So. Okay, is there any questions or review? So this one's. Are we caught up with audits
Yeah, actually, so I just spoke with.
with this one,
Sean.
with this one?
Yeah, I spoke with Sean from BRAC yesterday. He's part of their reporting team, and he was calling just checking on the audits. So we did the first few months that we had the property in 2023, and then the 2024-2025 audit. And then this one is this is 2024-2025. So we'll be caught up, and we're starting our last fiscal year as soon as this is signed.
So we have the 25-26.
So 25-26 will start as soon as this is signed, and that's due in October, so we're gonna really try
Okay,
to get it done.
so we do have another, yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
our auditor, since she just did one with us, is hopeful that it goes fast, and we can meet that deadline. Sean was okay if it's a little bit late, but it's due 120 days after
Right.
our fiscal year ends, so. Yeah,
Now we need a motion to approve this.
so yes, just approve it and then approve signing the rep letter.
And the rep letters for the next one.
No, it's for this one. It's just what she has to submit with the audit.
Okay.
So Joel, is the motion to accept the audit or to approve the audit? I don't think it's accept, but
I think you're right, yes.
so I'll make a motion to accept the audit of the CDA for 2024 through 2025.
Yeah.
Jeff moved. I'll second the motion. Get my name in the minutes. Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. Okay,
So
was the rep letter part of that?
I'll move for approval of the rep letter.
Rep letter, okay. Second. Now, is that an approval or an accept?
I think it's been approved.
An approval? Okay.
That'd be my guess.
Sure. Moved. Fair and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimous. Okay, auction. RFP.
Yeah, the
Like,
selection committee met and in the packet is the recommendation that they
yeah,
recommended selecting the highest scored RFP, the Picket auction service. The scoring sheet, their proposal and the recommendation from the committee is all in the packet.
mhm. Oh,
So
Well, I would make a motion.
Did they give any indication of what they thought the auction proceeds might bring? You know, because it sounds like they went out and they looked at what's there and
Mhm.
they've
okay.
give an idea of, well, we think that you, based off of our experience and the professional opinion, we might get this much money.
Not that I heard, I did not hear a total
Okay.
yes, yeah. And maybe Ty Ward did, he wasn't able to join us today, but,
Just curious.
yeah, I did not hear a yes.
Oh, John, if you had something to say?
Oh, I was going to make a motion
Oh,
to approve the picket auction services as recommended by the committee and award contract RFP number CDA 2026-001.
okay, so Jeff. Seconder, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimous. Okay,
So the only
They
thing,
didn't give a date today.
yeah, the only thing I was gonna say was the timeline, the timeline now. It'll be kind of long, so it doesn't, it looks like it'll take about 10 weeks from the time they start to actually close out an auction. And, so one thing that I was meeting with IRB on was, when we want them to do the auction, just based off of peak season and actually having people show up and hopefully get what they need based off of how long it takes to sort through all of our stuff and things like that. So I'll just keep you updated on when the actual auction is.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right, now. Real estate agreements,
Yes,
or we still have a few,
yeah, if you'd like to go into executive session, we do have Patrick on to help us.
do we need to?
Yeah, I think so. I think that makes sense
Oh,
to
okay.
discuss these.
All right. Now, where am I? And this will be for,
Both, F and
E,
E, yep.
okay. The CDA may hold an executive session meeting for the permissible reasons stated below under ORS 192.660, paragraph 2. Representatives of the news media and designated staff and other persons shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience will be asked to leave the room, or the CDA board may adjourn to another meeting room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision will be made in this executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. Subject to ORS 192.6602, subparagraph F, to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection. And ORS 192.660E, to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. And executive sessions in order. Then reopen the public meeting. I read that. And so I guess, yes, there are some
Yeah, Barney.
details to be worked out. Do we want to talk? We got Jacob on now?
Yes, Jacob is in.
Lisa, did you want to?
Jacob, I know you have a few more minutes. Do you want to talk in public session about access and temporary easement areas?
I didn't have any specific questions without knowing, I guess, the rest of the discussion. I've been reviewing the temporary easement that Sam sent over. I'm not quite done with review, or I've not sent my comments back to Sam yet. So I don't necessarily have any questions on top of my mind, Lisa.
Okay. I'll just see if I can grab JD after and we can just talk about it for a minute.
And just as an update, the board on Monday, the Board of Trustees approved a resolution authorizing me to vote in favor of the agreements or substantially similar. And I just want to put it out there, they put on their note on there that it says temporary agreement, temporary easement within the resolution. Because that's what we were at when the resolution was drafted for our meeting with the board when I had to review it last week. And so if there's any change to that, well, let me back up. The board and the DNR are not interested in moving away from a temporary easement. Yeah, so we can.
And we've been thinking about it on our side too,
Yeah.
and that we can have this conversation in public.
Yeah,
We think we might want to a little longer than 2 years,
okay,
just based on what kind of improvements might need to be made. Otherwise, if we need to get a road gravelled or paved and on the other side for access,
yeah.
it might take us.
So it's more about the conditions of the temporary. Okay,
Absolutely.
that's easy. Yeah, we can figure that out. Yeah. That was my question from Dan too. Okay, so.
Okay, is there anything else to come for this meeting?
Chair, just really quick, just one clarification, the way that the purchase and sale agreements are drafted right now, it would allow for CTUIR and the court to negotiate the terms of the temporary easement after the purchase and sale agreements are signed. So if that works for everyone, just to help move us towards actually getting signed agreements, that's the way that it's drafted right now. So.
Yeah, it's drafted. Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. So it's drafted to that we had negotiated with just before closing.
Right.
Yeah.
Other questions generally that I had was the I-82 access and the locked gate, needing to call Emily for access in. Because I would imagine for all of this, that's probably not very.
The locked gate on which parcel? Oh,
82.
The one that right off the freeway, is that what you're asking about?
It was in the document. It mentioned.
A locked gate. Okay, because our new road does not have a gate and that it will not be locked. So there's no. And I won't have any locked gates.
Okay.
Okay, so
And the other was the I-84 access. What's the status of that?
yeah,
The I-84 main gate access to.
The road is complete. Over there.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
Well, and I think in the document, it said that the main access would remain the I-82 access. To the
Yeah, I
property.
believe that's just because, the illegal access into, the Morrow County Road is through the Umatilla County Road. I think, Patrick, is that wrong?
The access going west.
Yeah, access into the Morrow County properties that we were asking about, off of the main entrance to like the National Guard.
off of I-84.
You would turn before the National Guard gate onto our new road. Yeah. And
And
that's
that's-
open, no gate or locked,
Okay.
and that road's completed.
I know, but is there legal access?
It's a road, it has not been dedicated to the public yet. And it hasn't been dedicated because we were under the assumption Portermore wanted to own it and maintain it. And so I guess Elizabeth could correct me if I was wrong, but I was under the impression we transferred the property to dedicate the road after we received the.
Here, here's where the two freeways.
But we don't own that property.
The access right here.
On the Utah.
Utah County. DV on.
Because there's already
About a mile.
physical access.
Yeah.
There's a road.
Yeah,
Right next to it. It's just right there.
I think so.
And
Elizabeth, we can't hear you.
You're breaking up.
Shoot.
I'm sorry, Adam is out of town today, but he
Okay.
would know what you're talking about.
So one of the easements goes north to connect with that road, and then that road was going to be dedicated. But if it transfers to POM, it would just own the road, right? So you'd only need that northern easement just off the road to get to it on the Umatilla County side.
Yeah, it's done right now.
We definitely need legal access from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm,
Yes. Apologies. Can you hear me now?
yes,
Yes.
So this is all the stuff that Adam is working through with the county to make sure that there will be legal access. It's sort of part and parcel of the lot line adjustments and the partition work that's going on in Morrow County. So I understand, and we'll clarify and confirm with Adam. He'll be back next week, but we'll clarify and confirm that you will have access. But I think for purposes of the way that the purchase and sale agreement is set up, that's all accounted for in the work that happens with the county and the planning department after you sign the purchase and sale agreement, but before the property closes and actually it transfers to the Port of Morrow. That will all be worked out as part of the land use process. So I don't think that we need to hold up on the execution of the agreement because that's all accounted for in the process. And again, if it would be helpful to jump on a call with the Port of Morrow and Adam and Sam, we could maybe try to get that scheduled for next week once Adam is back in the office.
I guess, one thing I want to be clear is that it's not just legal access, there's a practical access aspect too, with being able to access I-84. I mean, you could argue that we have legal access from I-82, but we would want to have also the practical reasons, have that access off of I-84.
which is that going to, and we need that before it transfers to either the port, maybe that's Port of Umatilla.
Might be, or it might be Port of Umatilla, is it? Or right there, is it Port of Umatilla?
Yeah,
So, I mean, that's our, the concern on that issue. If that makes sense.
Yes, and I know that we've had this conversation previously, and but I just don't want to speak out of turn. Apologies that I don't have all the details at my fingertips. But I know we've talked about this, and I'm pretty sure we have a
Okay.
plan for it. So if we can just circle back up on that, we can either just send you an email clarifying that or jump on a phone call, whatever makes the most sense for folks. Just let us know and we can schedule that for hopefully next week. We can get that done.
Okay, so are you suggesting we vote today on the sale agreements?
I think no, because Umatilla County isn't ready.
Isn't ready? Okay,
Yeah. And
Okay.
perhaps we could have a special meeting to vote on them after Umatilla County has had its vote, and then that will give us just a little bit more time to make sure we have the conversations with the Port of Morrow on these issues. And I think the timing might work out pretty well, where you could just have a special meeting to vote on the agreements to approve those.
Okay.
If you want to do that.
yeah, so it seems like an item worthy of a special meeting.
Yes, yes, it would be good for everyone, I think.
Uh-huh,
We've got one chance to do it right, so.
okay.
Elizabeth, do you want to talk about the cost sheet today, or should we hold off?
I would leave that to the board if they would want to talk about that or not.
Okay, do you, so just for, we haven't really talked about it much, but the fees for, like legal counsel and the land use fees for these purchase and sale agreements. We've kind of done the math and made some spreadsheets of where each cost kind of lies. I know CTIR was requesting information on what happened first and then what happened second. And so Elizabeth spent a lot of time putting together where everything was from their legal counsel, and then I added in the survey fees. And I have a large spreadsheet that I can send to everybody with each line item. And then I just kind of have an initial cost sheet on the first page that just kind of shows kind of where who's cost us what so far. And this is just everything to date. It's not an assumption of how much it'll end up being because we don't know, but I didn't, if you guys wanted to pass it around, I didn't put it out to you yet, but once you all get it, I'll kind of explain how I laid it out.
There we go.
Yeah, there's a lot of copies. I wasn't sure how many people were gonna show up today and what one.
Oh, and then I didn't grab one.
Are we,
I handed them all.
Yeah, I thought of it. I just didn't touch read the same. So I kind of separated it by the UC land use one is Umatilla land use first, the fees for the first set of work that we did, and then the land use on the second, and then the purchase and sale agreements, the surveys, and that survey is incorrect. I did not update that correctly on here as I noticed. My changes did not, oh, yeah, my changes did not save. So I'll have to edit that when I send it out to you, but, so C2IR paid for that initial July 2024 survey of 24,000, and that amount contributed into the initial land use fee cap of 35,000. So that's why on that first line, it shows C2IR having 10,880. And then what I should have done was divided the rest of the survey fees by 3 and then taken it off of C2IR on that survey column. I guess that's a question for the board, but I don't know how, or if any, we would be charging survey work to C2IR since they covered that initial 24,000. So other than that being incorrect, everything else just kind of shows where all the fees lie. And so for our, just so you guys know, on our current budget, our adopted budget for the year, all legal fees were budgeted at a little over $300,000, and that's for everything that we would use legal counsel for the year. And then to date, all of our purchase and sale agreement costs is around 400,000, around 413. So it's all been paid for by the CDA so far. We don't have any outstanding bills, but we are probably going to go over our budget this year. And I didn't know how you all wanted to handle. I know you're paying for CDA operations anyways, so.
Emily, will you be able to email me what you just handed out?
Yes, and I'll make it correct, John.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I'll do that as soon as we get off, I can.
I think, Emily, can I add just a little bit of context? When we originally started down this path, sort of the expectation was everybody was going to cover all of the costs associated with their individual purchase and sale agreement, and that's how the purchase and of course, for some of you, there have been more iterations and more changes, which is why you see sort of the different cost breakout. Also, at least on this spreadsheet, we have, like, for example, the first round of work on the Umatilla County lot line adjustments is all apportioned to the tribe and Port of Umatilla, because at that time, they were the only two parties that were to receive parcels when we were doing that lot line adjustment. There's also a cap for that time period where CTUIR was only to pay $35,000 for under the original purchase and sale agreement. And so I think just things have changed over time. There was the settlement agreement after that. And so we tried to apportion it this out based upon the agreements that are in place and based upon sort of the expectations over time. But I do think that if the board wanted to approach this differently, about how those costs are covered, that certainly is within your power to do that. But this, at least, we portioned it out based upon how the agreements are drafted and what the sort of circumstances were over time. Again, I think the board could discuss maybe a different way of approaching it. Maybe it's pro rata, or maybe there isn't payment for it just because those costs have already been paid for. I do think all of those things are things that you could discuss. We would just want to reflect, if there were changes, we'd want to reflect that in the purchase and sale agreements. Or maybe you guys all agreed that, hey, everybody pays a set amount for their purchase and sale agreement, and it's equal for everyone. Those are just all things that at least came to mind for me as we were looking at these costs and just knowing sort of the history and how things have changed over time. So just food for thought.
These are expenses already paid for.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Correct.
All of these?
Yes, we've been paying them up to date.
Okay.
Yeah, and they span from before the lawsuit when the initial.
Okay.
And in some cases, like the Port of Umatilla and Port of Morrow did pay directly for some of those costs for their purchase and sale agreement. That was also, and Emily, I'm not sure if that got captured or not in the spreadsheet, but that also is.
I was gonna say,
go ahead, sorry.
I wanted to show you this just so you had an idea of what we were looking at, but don't take it with you because I'm looking at this now. I'd like to make sure that all my numbers are correct before you take it,
But they are paid numbers.
They are
I mean,
paid.
They're all paid.
Yes, it's not bills that are
Nobody
outstanding.
owes anything.
Yeah, not bills that are
Okay.
outstanding. And
That's
we
amazing.
do have some budgeted, but it's for, that total is for everything that we need legal counsel for. So, we will most likely, I will be sending bills for, or we will need to increase our budget for legal counsel if we don't do something different with it.
Is some of the legal bills been paid though?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I did,
Is there a balance?
So from Schwabi so far this year, just for July and August, we've spent around 70,000.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're paying those bills as they come in.
And keep in mind, the spreadsheet goes back to 2022, I believe. So it captures costs spread out over a number of years. It might be 2023, but it's not just the cost for this year. It's all of the costs.
And Elizabeth did a great job line iteming them out, like each thing. And so, we came with a couple different options, like Elizabeth said. If how the board wanted to do it, if you wanted to all contribute a number, if you wanted to split it by 5, have port pay 2 portions, or just split it by 4, or you.
What's the total figure?
The total figure for everybody, I don't know if it's fully accurate on here, John. I don't. For Port of Umatilla, I have written down 165,000. Subject to me double checking and making sure that that's correct.
But some of these bills were paid with money from the 5 entities.
Yeah,
So
that's also what we wanted to say is you
Correct.
are already splitting 5 ways. What's
okay.
currently being
So is the 165,000 the total number for that we need to split 5 ways, or is that like our portion of it?
that's just what we have calculated as I guess that's Port of Umatilla's portion, sorry, Umatilla County's portion, we've calculated as 30,000 so far. And
But did you take out the money put in by the 5 entities?
I have not. I haven't done any of that research of like how much you guys have already paid. It gets really complicated because we're already funding the budget. And so what we
whole damn thing.
yeah, and that's the reason Umatilla County's is lower than Port of Umatilla's, and is because on that first first land use actions, they're being paid by Port Umatilla because before the lawsuit, they were getting the land. And now since Umatilla County is, we didn't count them as using the first set of land use fees.
Okay, so we might have to talk about this some more.
I know, that's why we wanted to bring,
Okay.
wanted to bring it up and see, I don't know.
So
What your thoughts were.
there's not to pick at an old wound, but there's money out there to help cover the cost. If you follow in the news lately, the former director said that he still has not paid back the CDA the 33,000 that was owed to us. And he said that because nobody's asked him to pay it back. So if we ask him to pay it back, does that mean he'll pay the money back? And that's what, $6,600 less per member.
Oh, yeah. That might be something we talk about, I guess. Or see how
Yeah.
that plays in. We'd have to play out who gets that, or who, is it the Port of Morrow or CDA? I don't know.
And we're not technically over budget yet
So,
for this year. So when we get there, I could bring it up again, or I know Elizabeth, I didn't know if these needed to be part of the purchase and sale agreements or if it's something that we can address after we exceed our budget.
So I think we don't want to change, I guess you could amend the budget if you wanted to do that, but just to be clear, this spreadsheet is something different from the budget. This spreadsheet is the survey costs, it's the purchase and sale agreement cost, legal fees associated with the land use work and the purchase and sale agreements. And there are a couple of different reasons why the numbers are what they are. We could probably walk through that in more detail at the next meeting. And then also, I think, Emily, we could probably go back and figure out what, for example, I Port of Umatilla and the Port of Morrow did pay a portion of the costs that are showing up on here already, just directly. And so we need to probably subtract those out. And then there's also the cap for CTUIR of the $35,000, which I think, Emily, I'm not sure if it ended up getting reflected in the spreadsheet
I
or
did,
not.
yeah, that was reflected correctly, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we could come back and we could provide some additional detail on what's been paid and what hasn't. And then that might, and we could maybe tee up some additional ideas for how you all might want to proceed, maybe some recommendations based upon that additional detail, if that would be helpful.
Okay, so that is the end result of this discussion or spreadsheet to be a bill at the end? For
If that's
each,
how the board wants to proceed, right now, that is the way that the purchase and sale agreements are drafted. And so I think that's the default, what would happen unless the board provided different direction.
Okay,
So just for clarification, Elizabeth, the PSAs right now have everybody paying their portion.
Correct. Except, just again, remember that the tribe has that $35,000 cap on the first draft.
Yeah.
Okay, if there are no more questions, we can talk about this again.
Yeah, now that I've confused everybody a whole bunch, we can talk about it again. And we'll go through and I can work with Elizabeth, and like she said, we can work through a couple of recommendations to see
Okay,
what those would look like.
I guess so if the bills have already been paid, why are we paying them again?
Because that's what the purchase and sale agreements say, is that everybody pays for their costs associated. So that was sort of always the expectation, is that even though the bills, like the surveyor bills and the lawyer bills are being paid as they're incurred by CDA. The expectation was always that under the purchase and sale agreements. And this is from day one, version 1 of the purchase and sale agreements, is that each of the members who was receiving property would pay the legal and I'm just gonna say land use associated costs for the agreements.
Okay,
But you can, the board can give us different direction on that. You guys could all agree to have a cap on how much you pay, just sort of like the tribe did, or I mean, there's just a lot of different
Mhm.
things that you could potentially work out amongst yourselves, whatever you end up thinking is fair and appropriate. So
okay. Do we want to take any action, any suggestions today, or just review it later?
Well, I think
we should talk-
Emily and Elizabeth should get the more information, get things clarified, and maybe some more background information to what goes into the spreadsheet.
Yeah, we'll send it out to you with more details.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anything for the good of the order? Like, when's our next meeting?
Oh, actually, Mr. Chair, if I
John?
may, I'm Bob Walter's still on the call, and I'd like to have him give just a 2-minute synopsis of something real quick, if they could.
Yes.
Yeah, good morning. Or good afternoon now. This is Bob Walder, Community Development Director for Umatilla County. And just wanted to let folks know we've been working with Business Oregon along with Port of Umatilla to establish a long-term rural enterprise zone on the, I guess it'd be the southeast corner of the CDA property down there on the land that'll be conveyed to the county and the port. And so we got a positive determination from Business Oregon for our application. And so we anticipate, well, now that that approval has happened, we can now use that as an incentive for development out there in that area. So we were surprised how quickly the process went with Business Oregon, and we're happy with the results. So just wanted to provide that update.
Okay, great. Thank you. So our next meeting, thank you for that, September
22nd.
22nd. All right, hearing nothing else?
Unless we have a special meeting.
That's true, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hear back from
We do.
everybody
Okay.
and in your,
I guess if
Umatilla
we-
County.
If we have a special meeting, then we cancel this one. I don't know. We'll leave it on the calendar, September 22nd. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Patrick and Emily. Anyone else? And, well, Elizabeth, there it was, with the right name. Meeting adjourned.